Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, hello. We would like to welcome you again to the third broadcast of the Circle Symposium Online 2014. This is a discussion session with the group DisAbility Research, which is an interdisciplinary research group based across different schools and colleges of the University of Edinburgh. And this is a monthly session. We meet once a month discussing different topics. And today we are going to share with each other our research interests and also discuss the usefulness of the Wiki as an online tool in the purposes of this group and how we can use it to communicate and develop collaborative processes together. So I'm just going to start using the camera to point to the different members of the group, and I'll start with George.
Hello, I'm George Lowe, and for want of a better word, I'm the coordinator of the group, which we've called DisAbility Research Edinburgh. And we've been meeting now for about 3 months, and things have been going quite well for us. But as Sophia said, we're an interdisciplinary group, and my particular area of interest is disability and music. Musical identity in particular.
Okay. Hello. My name is Aurora Constantin. I'm a PhD student. My focus is on designing and implementing an authoring tool for social story interventions to support practitioners who work with children with autism. And this tool is expected to be an improvement compared with the current tool. My main interests are in human-computer interaction, in educational tools, and assistive technologies.
Okay, so they're quite relevant to this topic, I think.
Hi there, I'm Alison Smart, and I'm a registered nurse, and I'm doing a master's at the University of Edinburgh. My main research surrounds around children with learning disabilities and Down syndrome, and I do some work with Down syndrome Scotland as well. Not doing any particular research at the minute regarding disabilities.
Okay. The next, hold on, because that is not. So this technology. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Yuchen Wang, and I'm from China. I'm now doing my PhD in Morehouse School of Education, and I'm looking at the schooling experience of children with learning disabilities in mainstream schools. And my research interest, I'm interested in almost everything related to disability, but more on the schooling part. So I'm interested in how the teachers may help the children and how could we promote the peer relationships or that. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So now I'm just going to maybe, because I have to turn the camera in a different way, then maybe the two colleagues we have here can say something very quickly.
Hello, my name is Penny Travelo, and I'm based at the Edinburgh School of Art, in particular in the Edinburgh School of Architecture and Landscape Architecture. I'm a cultural geographer and ethnographer with a special interest in network online communities and how they form, but as well how they come together to collaborate and share knowledge and knowledge practices.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, I'm Daphne Dragona. I come from Athens, Greece, and I'm also based in Berlin. I work as a curator on digital art, and the last few years I especially focus on network art, net-based art, and commons-based creativity. I also do a PhD, which is relevant to these topics, and I study especially like how social and informational networks intersect nowadays and how they create kind of misconceptions. and I try to bring responses coming from the field of art that somehow try to expose the networks and make them more understandable to their users.
Okay, so maybe I should say what I do, since it comes here. My name is Sofia Likouris. I am choreographer. I am based at the Edinburgh College of Art, like Penny, but I'm in a different school, the School of Art. I am a member of this group because I am interested in the idea of disability as difference, like what is different about it, and the positive or the creative aspects of this difference. I have done work of this kind in the past, looking at the idea of difference in various contexts. And in terms of the technological questions that are relevant to this discussion, I came up with a concept of interaction between different groups and networks for the Circle Symposium of 2014, where I wanted to find ways to bring different groups together so that there are some interdisciplinary encounters. That's how I thought about it, which is also another aspect of the work of this group, to look at interdisciplinary research and methodologies.
Hello, my name's Connie Johnson. I teach counselling at the School of Health in the University of Edinburgh, and I'm currently doing a PhD, and the interest that I have is in how disability affects people in relationships, so thinking about social relationships, couple relationships, relationships at work and with carers, that kind of thing. And the idea is to help counsellors improve their expertise and understanding of disability and how it affects people's daily lives, particularly in terms of relationships. That is very much what counselling is about. So, yeah, that's.
Okay, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Asiam. I'm first year PhD student in Morehouse School of Education. I'm interested in online education, and I think the aims of this group are conducive to studying the way we learn and how much able-bodiedness is actually required for learning, and how that translates into the ways we learn online. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. Very, very.
Does meet which is really good, and we do have quite a good representation from different schools in the university, which I thought was really good as well. So I think the group, the idea I had for the group was to try to engender interdisciplinary collaboration between the schools, and I think that's something that's quite a possibility with this group.
Shall we discuss ideas about that, maybe? Like, I don't know, like, because there are some people who were not here before in other conversations that we have. Maybe what people want to get out of the group.
Yeah, that's probably
what they hope. Maybe if people, I can start.
Well, actually, Asiam on the first meeting actually said that one of the things that we could possibly do would be a project, and I think after what we've been involved in recently down at Drake Music and other things like the project we did with Circle, obviously there's good potential there for that, and I think that given the pool of skills that we have, I think that we could take that on quite easily.
Can you say a few things about what happened in that session? And what was that? Because not everybody was able to attend because there was a limited number of people.
It was very limited in numbers. But Thursa Sanderson is the CEO of Drake Music, which is based in Edinburgh, and they provide opportunities for disabled people and non-disabled people to partake in musical production and anything to do with music. They have a wide variety of technological things there. They've got the iPads. They had what was the Skoog, you know. So there we go. So we saw this different technology that I think none of us had seen before, and it was really interesting to see it. And it gives people a means, people that wouldn't normally be able to partake in music, gives them a means to actually do so. And they're involved in quite a few different projects themselves, and they go out, they do sort of outreach to a variety of schools in Edinburgh and all over Scotland, and they collaborate with other groups and things like that as well. So that was a very good meeting, and while we were there was 2 performances on the go, which were very interesting, and we actually got to try some of the instruments ourselves. So that was even better.
So did you think of any projects? I mean, do you think, how do you think as a group we can work with a because again, it's an interesting theme of non-academic organisation with us and the academic agendas and the funding and all that. So,
well, they're actually quite keen to do some sort of project and some research. They would like somebody like a representative from the university to do some research on what they're doing, so that it's more or less objective from their point of view, and that helps them gain funding and that sort of thing as well. But as far as an idea goes, we didn't get that far. But I'm sure if we could put it together and get some thought into it, I'm sure we could manage to come up with something. And as I say, they are really keen for us to do something. And because quite a few of us there were from education, I thought, the education side of Drake Music might play a part. And being a musician myself, there might be an involvement for me there as well. So, but I'm sure there's other opportunities there as well. So that was a good afternoon spent at Drake Music.
Yeah, really fascinating. And okay, and we have seen many instruments that were really accessible to children with limitations, and yes, we also talk a lot about what they have done, and I think for these practitioners, they really struggled with how to document their experience,
right.
How to take on a more systematic research on what they are doing. And it's also interesting to see that they also keep up with the literature, right?
Yes.
They even recommended some research paper to us.
That's right.
Yeah. So I definitely saw a chance for a very good collaboration with them. Yeah.
Okay. So the idea of the documentation, for example, the experience is a concrete, because I was trying to imagine, I was going to ask that question, did you suspect what they might need or benefit from? And it looks like for that one, and how do you think they want to use that documentation of the experience?
I think one of the main aspects is funding. They've got to justify to their funders that they're actually a legitimate organisation, that they're following correct procedures and that sort of thing. So I think the belief there is that someone like a representative from the university would have all the training and the knowledge of methodologies and things like that could set that up and run through it.
Yes, so one of the ideas was that nowadays everything is evidence-based, and you have to prove that whatever you're doing has some worth in its own. And because in their work with their population, sometimes an achievement is something not necessarily noticeable by those who are not involved. They have a challenge of proving that achievement actually is an achievement. And in that they perhaps, they were not explicitly saying we should do this, but they do need help in recording and maybe having some longitudinal kind of information about what happens to those who participate in their musical bands, how exactly their skills progress if they do, or what actually does change as a result of that activity. Because sometimes very from outsider's point, the achievement could be minute, but it actually is significant for the person involved. They were saying sometimes that if a person comes to a training session and stays, that is already an achievement because it means that an attention span is already so much more than usual. So it was interesting.
And they do have accreditation as well. They actually some of the musicians can get certificates and through the education system, so they've got that aspect in it as well, which is probably about the extent of the records they have. I mean, I think they do have some back records, but as far as that is concerned, I think it is based on what the certificates and the progress of each student has gone through the education system has. So it may be something a bit more cohesive and a bit more organised would probably what they're looking for.
Okay, maybe the rest of us should go. Who wants to go?
Well, it's a really interesting place to visit anyway, but I'm sure first I could arrange another visit. I'd actually put that in my last email. That, there is a possibility there. There is only really room for maybe 4 people in the sort of recording studio and everything like that.
Yeah.
But definitely, and funnily enough, nobody seemed to mind our presence there, which I thought was quite good. I was a bit concerned about that. I think we all were a bit concerned about whether we were going to end up getting in the way, but it didn't seem to be that way. And everybody was quite pleased that we were there. So it was good.
Yeah, I mean, there were 2 bands. One was at 2 o'clock, which was not all the digital tools, but an actual bass and actual guitar, keyboard and everything. And again, kids of different levels of ability were using it. And I mean, it's not only about the most accessible, the least challenging kind of tools. It's also about everyday music and what people like. And the singer is usually the one who likes to sing, not necessarily who can do that. And which,
it's all about enjoyment, I think,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah. So it was really inspiring in that way.
Okay. Should we discuss the wiki? Today I was asking, because I personally don't understand what the wiki does, and I was asking Daphne, she knows more than me, and maybe one of the reasons why I haven't put anything in the wiki myself is because I'm not quite sure. So maybe George, who has set that up and has the experience of it,
No pressure.
can explain a bit what he thinks is.
I actually had the idea of some way of us, because we're all from different schools, all from different places. I thought it'd be good if there was an online way that we could communicate and let each other know what we're doing and things like that. And the first idea was a website, but as I was saying earlier, that is fraught with difficulties and technicality, which I don't have the expertise for. And as it turned out, I don't have the expertise for a wiki either. But I went to see someone from the IT department who sort of helped me out slightly with it. And the basic concept is it allows all the users of the wiki to edit any page. So it's basically like a website that any one of us can go on and add a page or any kind of content we want. There's a blog facility on it which I've used, and you can actually create a page and then create what they call children for that page. So it's like a sub page, and you can more or less have your own section on the wiki that tells people all about what you're doing or whatever content you want to do. And from a publishing perspective, it provides a means for documents to be collated collaboratively among a group of authors. That's what I've got written here, so you're saying it. So that's basically the idea of it. You know, if you wanted to do some sort of project, it's an ideal place to do that, where you can leave a piece of information and then somebody in their own time can come along later on and add to it or comment on it or delete it or whatever they want to do. So.
Okay, and so, and you have registered, you have kind of fixed that we can all, the access to it. It was a matter of us being registered in some kind of.
That's where I had the biggest problem to begin with, was getting everybody access to this. You have the option where anybody in the world can access it.
Yeah.
But obviously we didn't want that because you're anyway. So I wanted everybody in the group to have access to it, and I had a few problems with that. But that was one of the reasons I went to see the IT person, and she helped me out with that. So everybody now should have access to be able to add to it, delete, leave comments or whatever. Hopefully, if I've done this properly.
Now, the structure of it, is it something that we need to discuss? Because you have this structure there.
Yeah.
So you came up with that structure, isn't it? Or maybe some other people have intervened with this. I don't know. So what was the logic of the structure? How do you think about?
Well, it's basically it's done for you.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's there. It's a space on the internet that's allocated to you. You're given a home page, and from that home page, then you create your own pages that are linked to that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying about what I mean by structure is the types of things that go into page. You know, have a page for X or Z.
Content.
Yeah,
the content,
the structure of the content.
The content is up to the user.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I actually put the picture on.
Yeah. At the minute there is a structure which you started because you were the one.
Yeah, that was all. The home page was all my doing. The pictures and the wording. That was all me that did that. And the way that the wiki is set up, anybody can add to that or add a page to that, add a link to it, whatever they want, and you can upload photographs, links. You can link to a website. You can put your email address on it. You can link to almost anything. So, but it's a very basic. It's almost a basic website, but probably an IT person would argue with that. But that's how I see it.
What kind of topics we have there already? I mean, I haven't unfortunately seen it yet.
Maybe we can have you got there.
Yeah, I'll see if I can. One of the things you have to do is log in using your university ease account, and once you've done that, basically, what I can do is send an email out to everybody with the link to the actual the homepage, and once you're on there, that's basically the format. It's in quite big font because I've got a sight problem, but that's how it sort of works out. So it's basically like a web page, and at the right hand side, left hand side, there's a what we call this a space tool where you can click on that and you can just add a page on to the home page and link to the home page. I've put some content on about disability, different topics on disability, and on that page there, that's the home page. On that, there's a link to a blog which anybody can add to, or you can have your own blog if you want. But if you click on the blog link, then it takes you to the which is basically just a blog by the author, and that's what I put on at that point. Plus, you can actually link to any content. You can put in a hyperlink from the home page to any other page as a shortcut. So that actually there's a shortcut appears on the home page to your own pages. So you could actually have your own sort of mini wiki within that wiki if you wanted to.
Okay. So how can we use it? I mean, the question now is, why have we not used it? and why have we not, like you said, I can't remember what's there. And although I've got the link, so it's not a problem with the link because I have it because I have linked it to the certain website and I can find it straight forward to there. Why we are not looking at it?
I just wonder if is anybody else familiar with wikis?
No, I think that's probably really it.
Yeah, I kind of thought that. So it might have been an idea for me to put in an email, just the basic concept of the wiki. I was reluctant to do that because I didn't really know that much about it myself. So, but now that I've got a tiny smidgen of knowledge, I might do that, and at least you can refer back to it and see how things actually are supposed to work. I've no doubt there'll be problems with it because it was me that built it, so there's going to be problems with it. But I think it's a great tool. I really do. I think it could be used for anything really. And if you feel that you want someone else to have access to it, you just contact the administrator, who is me, and we can talk about that as well and see whether you want someone else to get access to it.
Because we had, I forget the name of the lady from the
Furza is, she's not in the university, but she can actually get
access it, yeah.
What they said to do was she logs on as a guest.
Yeah, and he's
friend. His friend, so that's how she logs on. And it was easier for her because she's an alumni of the university anyway, so it was easier for her. But I think we've sorted out the demons and that side of things, so it should be quite easy now for anybody to get access.
I mean, I am wondering, because also of the discussion that we had yesterday, the discussion with Penny in a similar broadcast, which was about online communities and tools with Penny and Simon Biggs and Sue Oxley, who are ex-colleagues with us, but now they have moved back to Australia. And we were talking about the offline kind of role of the online community. And in some of these communities, there are the stuff that is happening offline, physical spaces where people are meeting physically, and the importance of that in relation to how the online tool works. And this thing, the structure of the wiki, it's stuck in my brain like something that I can't, it's like, it's really important, what is there and all this. And I'm just thinking that rather than to say, oh, it's there, I can put something, maybe we can have as a meeting, this group, what are the areas, and kind of decide as a group that we want to have an area, for example, where we put photographs of this type of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
And we agree that, and then we create that section, then we go and do it. Because for me, I'm like describing my personal experience in relation to this tool, I'm just feeling, I don't know what to do, because this is kind of George's thing, and he created it. And it's not like he did something to stop me from doing it. But I feel it's too
kind of random, and I just put a page with my photographs or whatever because I thought photographs are good. Or, so what's the point of this? Whereas if we kind of make some decisions that we want to explore these things, and I got some literature on that, I can put links or yes or I don't know. Or I think it would be good to have some visual material. I really like that. For some reason, and kind of agree about the structure in terms of the pages.
That sounds better than what I was saying, but it was very embryonic. You know, I hadn't really thought about how it was going to transpire. But what you're saying there makes a lot of sense. You know, is to try and work it and structure it a bit better so that everybody gets their own chance to put on what they want, and we'll agree that what's on there is what the
I mean,
group wants.
without you having done what you've done already, I wouldn't be able to think of this because I just didn't know what the wiki is. I just could not, I don't know what it is and what's the point and why is it different from the blog and what's, you know,
exactly.
all of these kinds of things. But you've set it up and you have set up the technical structure, like
It's a framework, basically.
framework.
Yeah.
You have done that.
Can you chat on it?
That's something I'll have to find out. I'm sure you can.
I always thought that's what partly what a wiki was about,
Yeah.
that you could converse, because one of the things would be to converse about what we actually want to put on there, because we haven't really found a commonality in what we're doing
We
yet.
can
Yeah.
converse through
Do what?
the hangout. We can converse through that.
The handout.
We can this broadcast facility that I'm using right now. We can use it to do this thing because it's like video conference without broadcasting it.
Okay.
Now we
yeah,
are broadcasting
Oh, so we
this,
can-
but we can put this thing and people are logging into this hangout that I have introduced, and we talk to each other, but we are not broadcasting it necessarily. Or maybe we might be able, I'm sure that to do it. No, you upload it from the computer. It's on the internet because it's YouTube. You don't need to buy anything. What I'm saying is we could be broadcasting privately because that allows us to record it for ourselves so that we don't have to keep notes, but not broadcast it to other people.
And you can upload that on Wiki so people aren't here can then see it.
Yeah,
We can catch
that's
up.
right.
Yeah.
So
My comfort zone, but, you know.
you need to have a good idea. And then you need to upload on your computer from the internet the Hangout plugin, whatever it's called. And then the person who, let's say I start the session, or maybe John can start the session when I show you how to do it, then the person who initiates the Hangout invites people through sending a special email that comes with the system to your Google sort of email. And when you accept the invitation, then you appear in this window. And we are all
I think you need to send us detailed instructions on how to do this, like, you know, idiot's guide to.
Yeah, because you lost me at Hangout.
I know, I don't get that either. The language is.
But we can still, because we meet physically anyway, we do have these meetings. So we can discuss quite a lot about the content of the wiki in this physical meeting without saying you have to do the Hangout. Since we meet anyway physically, and we are all from the same base in Edinburgh rather than in other cities.
One last point about the wiki I was going to make was I haven't put anything about the meetings on it as such, but there is a structure embedded in it for recording the minutes at meetings and things like that, and actually letting people know there's a calendar on it for letting people know the next date of the meetings, that sort of thing. And I was reluctant to do that because it hadn't been sort of used, that I could probably for a while put everything on, the content on the wiki and send out the emails as well. just till we get familiar with the
And
way it works.
when you say record the meeting, you mean type them and have a document? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Just
okay.
basically what I've been doing before, which is just a summary of what
Right,
has been said.
have them on the wiki.
And it
Yes.
goes on the wiki. And
That's good because they are in one place.
well, that's what I
You
thought.
can find it rather than searching for emails.
And I think, I might be wrong, but I think that when something new is put on the wiki, that you can all get an email alert to say there's new content on it.
Right. Okay.
Sounds good.
So maybe, so what shall we do then? I mean, maybe we can also send emails with ideas of what we want to have this week to George, who's the coordinator, and then in the next meeting we discuss those things.
But why don't we create a page in a wiki with ideas for the wiki?
Well,
Yeah.
that's actually a good idea, Sam. We could have
So that you have a taste.
like a notepad
Yes.
that everybody could put sort of scribble on with ideas, and then everybody else can go in and have a look and see what's been said.
So that you would be a little bit forced to use.
Yeah, I think the idea of everybody introducing themselves and having a little bit of themselves on the wiki first would be a good starting step.
Yeah. Well,
Because it's quite hard to hold the information about what we've all got.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I'm just struggling to find a commonality. I seem to want to be doing that, and I'm not quite sure why. But I can recognise there's some commonality that you're doing, for example, and what you're talking about. But
Well, it's something you can add something about us or something like that.
that's right.
And you can, or people, and we can, each of us write something.
Well, what I maybe do is
so
put that
you're
page on.
suggesting, Laura, that George has a new
A
page
page,
on
yes,
people.
I'll do that. I'll put a specific
Even
page on.
add the names of people and everybody.
Everybody on the list, I can put their
Yes.
names on, and that way you can see who the guilty parties are.
Ah.
But no, I think that's a good idea, is to put a page on and everybody just introduce themselves. I did actually mention that before in the emails, but I think everybody was a bit tentative because of the sort of the technological side of the wiki. But if I'll do that now, and hopefully that'll get the ball rolling. Okay.
So you take
Sorry to interrupt. How are you? Fine, thanks.
Okay, that sounds good.
So, homework for me then, yeah?
It's all, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's right, homework for everybody.
So you do this structure there, then we go and fill these sections for ourselves,
Yeah.
and then we fill ideas about what to be on the wiki, and maybe that's enough for the next time.
So we'll have two separate pages, or do you want it on one page? Two separate? One page for everybody to introduce themselves, and another page to do some brainstorming. Basically.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay?
Okay. So maybe we can close that broadcasting session.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for watching this session. Goodbye.